Hi.
We are District Embers, and this is our presentation about us as a band.
We are a four-piece band from Oxford. I'm Sam. That is
Lani,
Hamish.
and Lily.
and this is our presentation.
The reason we picked each other is because we believe we all have similar music taste, but separate enough in our playing styles to have a unique influence on each other's songs. From Louis' unique grooves to Hamish's Johnny Marr style guitar playing, me and Lani's lyric writing and stage presence. Our band name is also District Embers, which Lani and Louis came up with, and the reason we think it's as fitting is because, like an ember, our songs are also fire.
Another reason, I think why we kind of picked each other is because, as we're all kind of mutual friends anyway, before we were together, we find it easier to be completely honest with each other and say, that doesn't really work. There isn't that awkward level where you don't really want to hurt someone's feelings, because we can all be straight with each other, and we quite frankly are.
Well, with the band name, you mentioned about the justification of Embers, but is District the fact that you all live fairly close to Enstone, and it's within that district? What's the...
West Oxfordshire district.
We're in a 20-mile radius of Enstone.
So is that anything to do with it, the fact that it's about proximity? Or...
District,
So,
I think, is
we're
like home. You make it feel, like we're a group collective.
Like you get some bands around here that aren't all together, but we're really close.
Even from where we all live to the fact that we, quite frequently get in contact with each other, FaceTime.
It's that unity and community.
Strongly.
And if COVID wasn't a thing, then we'd be obviously meeting up.
Oh, we'd be meeting up a lot more.
In terms of our style of music, we're a modern British indie band with an 80s sort of new romantic influence in our style of playing. And we feel like mixing these two styles with having influences from what we liked from, say, music 30 years ago to now is creating quite a unique sound.
Yeah, definitely. And one wonderful thing about the band is, Sam's got a lot of knowledge when it comes to the history of music, and a lot of other members do as well. So it's really lovely that, we get to incorporate all of our knowledge into our songs as well.
Also, being under the label indie, it gives us quite a wide sort of area to experiment and mix with different styles, do different timings, etc. And discuss problems that might occur when we first started, and we feel like it could possibly be procrastination from sort of a lack of motivation.
Yeah.
And how we'll sort of try and overcome that is just try and find new influences, try and play differently, and constantly just bring new ideas to the table.
I think, as we want to succeed and stuff, and we want to set high targets and aims, but I think we don't want to, feel like because we are hitting all the marks, we just give up, and we want to push and do the very best we can.
And our main goal would be to release a really good top quality 6-song EP.
And make sure the production is not high standard. Next slide.
We believe that the research aspect of this project will be most important because it will help us identify us as a band and sort of give us ideas of how we can make ourselves different from other artists that have been in our style before.
Slightly more experimental.
Exactly. Luckily, exactly right. Luckily, there have been thousands, millions of bands before us, so we can really incorporate that fact that we're not the first band to ever exist, and actually researching and looking into other bands can give us that kind of step up on other bands where we're looking at and trying to.
With the research, are you looking into their live performances and their recording methods?
And the production as well, as that's something.
Also, trying to look into different ways we can structure our songs based on how other bands have done it as well, and just trying to do something unique and different with our songs, and also trying to be really good live performers by sort of watching performances of artists we like and inspire us.
Exactly right, yeah.
Making sure that you interact with the audience.
Yeah, exactly.
And not just the audience, but
And we also, as primary research, we ask our peers how they think we can improve as a band, what songs they liked from our set, what songs they didn't, how they think we can improve on stage. And it's just really good sort of feedback to have since your audience. And
there's also feedback from our bandmates, and then also
other
bands.
We do like to use all the sources. Excellent.
With evaluation and reflection, we have tasked with the weekly sort of online blog post, so we can look back and hopefully sort of during that week we film parts of what we've done in the pod, and then we can sort of evaluate whether what has gone wrong and then what we can do better
Exactly, and keeping up to date and gathering as much footage as we can really benefits us, because if I came back to a older blog post and it was mainly just a short paragraph of writing, I wouldn't really gain much from that, whereas if I look back and I saw a video clip, it would be more interactive and help me, move forward from that, so that's what we really try to do.
I was just going to ask that, is it the clips of the rehearsal that help with regard to that? Yeah.
Yeah, see where if we did just sort of muck up on stage, you could see where sort of we went wrong in the pod practicing it, so that we should have picked up all that time, and that's why it helps us to reflect.
Yeah,
Do you find watching other artists as well, maybe even at college, that helps either good practice or not so good practice, what you take on board? Yeah.
We've had discussions this week about how we can improve as a band and sort of just reference other bands and how they're doing in their practice and their rehearsal.
Yeah.
See if we can incorporate sort of things they're doing as well.
Definitely.
So it does help to see other bands. And also be around a lot more musicians as well.
It's good to know what your peers are doing.
Yeah, exactly.
We also do it not just for our sort of benefit, but we can also see sort of how each other are getting on. So
Yeah. I mean, Louis, for example, is massively improved on the drums whilst he's been with us, and being able to give each other feedback and stuff has definitely helped with that as well. So
Yeah.
that's a good example, I'd say. Should we go to the next slide? Logo. Now, logo has been something that I've mainly been developing, but making sure I continuously go back to my band and get feedback on, because it's not I'm doing solo. This is a group thing, so I want to make sure they like it as well. And I think the important thing with the logo is not to just make one and call it a day. I think it's about the development and making sure you're improving it. So lower down here we have the star. And those two, they're very basic logos. I mean, I went to various websites because I didn't want to stick with one. And they had a lot to offer, whereas I got further down the page to here, where actually the band started to like these ones more. As you can see from this middle one here, I don't know if it's shown very well, the band kind of liked that yellow kind of colour, so I incorporated that into our last kind of piece for it. So I think, the band logo is something that I wouldn't want to spend way too much time on, because I'd like to be elevating our performance and stuff. But I think it's something that you should spend a little bit of time on, because I want people to remember us by that.
How you sell yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, looking at all of these, they look like they could certainly be on a T-shirt or a garment of some description. They look quite kind of quite corporate in some respects, some of them. But I noticed the second one in, you used an eye.
Yeah.
Is there a reason for that kind of imagery
I guess
on there?
it kind of just sort
I've got a lot
of.
of jewellery. In fact, I'm wearing some jewellery right now with an eye on it, and actually I quite like that. And I think it's about kind of keeping an eye on us as a family, what we're doing. I kind of like that, but I didn't really manage to incorporate it further down, as I didn't really think it worked with the different colourways we had. So unfortunately, I had to let it go, but I did like it.
Looks like the more you've moved on, the more you've settled, particularly within those, maybe the fourth and the sixth one, more of the sort of stylisation of the font that you're using, which I think people can identify with, and when you upload stuff, that will be not just the name, but identify with other colourings.
To look at as well, which is an important thing. You want people to be able to remember it. And if there's not too much going on, then usually people will be keeping that back and it will be resonating.
I mean, you may cover this later, but with regard to merchandise, have you looked at those kind of angles just yet? Or?
I've made a blog post about band posters and stuff like that. We've been looking at that just because, luckily, we've got a big campus here at Oxford, and if lockdown wasn't a thing, we would be trying to get posters around the college, so people would be coming and trying to attend our gigs and stuff. But I still think that's something we want to attend. Like at the back of the class where I can see loads of posters, which is nice. I know you can't show the camera there, but that's kind of where the idea came from. So
There's also, with our logo, it sort of does fit well, like you said, on t-shirts, but also like badges, and any other small things you can have. Maybe branch out and have some district embers, lighters, embers representing fire, and most of our audience are smokers, so it's quite a good sound quite well.
I was going to say, is that encouraging smoking?
we wouldn't want
Not
to.
necessarily, because you can use lighters for candles.
It's like a utensil. Every day.
Barbecues?
Yeah.
Barbecues,
Should we go to the next slide?
Yes.
Forest fires?
Our next slide is social media, and for social media, I didn't want to, overwhelm the page here with a lot of writing. I wanted to make it, incorporate a lot of what our social media page has on it. I think something that I wanted to make sure we didn't have on our social media is just, very bland pictures, very boring. I wanted to have even ranges from us having pictures of us sat at various positions and stuff, and then actually videos of us when we're playing in the studio and stuff. So just so they can see more behind the scenes and get to know us as a band a bit
I
better.
was just going to say that strikes me when I see those images, and of course I've been, I've enjoyed kind of monitoring and just having a look at your journey so far. And again, it is nice to see. I don't know, rather than it all being too sort of formulated when it's behind the scenes, you feel you get to know the members of the band a little bit more, a bit more of an insight, really, isn't it? Yeah.
We're not models or anything. We don't want it to be very, us posing all the time. We do want a bit of the behind the scenes, which is important. I think on next slide.
That's easy. So like with our EP, we were tasked with getting at least 15 minutes worth of sort of music onto an EP. I think we're aiming to do about 4 tracks, possibly 5, and obviously produce them to the best that they can be.
Yeah.
We're probably a lot of bands these days is kind of a lot of college bands these days are putting sort of pictures of their bands sort of on front of their thing. I think that's a bit sort of overused. So I think we'll probably go for something niche.
I think you said luckily Louis actually knows an artist who was considering getting us to try and get some artful work for that. Because as we go back to district and there's that kind of unity stuff, we'd like to incorporate a bit of that, going and finding an artist, possibly even paying him to do that. I think it'd be quite a nice process and find something we actually like for us.
You mentioned in your research looking at those influences and what you kind of bring into the musical style and even the 80s influences, that type of thing. But what about the songs themselves? Who tends to contribute to the actual songs that are going to be on that
I
EP?
think sort of all of us, most guitar parts have come up by the image, and then sort of we will add around that. But obviously, if we think something doesn't work, then we'll let him know, and then sort of we'll help him think something else out.
So that's the main kind of the spark, really, which are the riffs and the chord progressions, that type of thing. Yeah. And Lani, do you do all of the lyric writing, the top line melody? Or?
So far, most of the stuff I have done, but me and Sam do have gone back to his house, for example, quite a while ago, and been making songs together and stuff. And I do know that he's very good at writing lyrics as well. So we kind of want to incorporate the fact that 2 heads are better than one, and actually it'd be very useful having him helping.
I was saying, so with regards to where we are